and save them, and then we'll figure out some way to try to get those answered for our attendees. Perhaps we can send them an email or post them when the YouTube webinars, when their webinars are on the YouTube. Anyway, thank you all for joining us. Our second guest tonight, this is our English coaching tools session, and thank you, Linda, for joining us. We're excited to hear what you want to present. And I'll just say a little bit about you, and then I'll just hand it over right to you, and you can take it away, okay? So, thank you, Linda. Linda hails from Dubai currently, originally from Italy, but Linda is an executive coach who does a lot of leadership and executive training involving strategic development, management initiatives, and this kind of stuff. But perhaps most exciting, she owns an ACTP training school where she's delivering the ICF programs for ICF accredited programs for CR Global ORSC core curriculums. And if you want to expand on that, you can, but I'll let you take it away from there. Once again, thank you, Linda, for joining us, and welcome.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Reem. It's my pleasure to be here. I was with you guys a few nights ago, and it was just the most beautiful experience. The audience was participative, and so I'm looking forward to the same again tonight. I can't hear everybody, unfortunately, and I can't see everybody. I just want to check in. Can I hear participants? If I ask a question, are they able to verbally answer me? Can I hear them?
Not at this point. We have about 55 participants. So we have the microphones on mute, but what people could do is go ahead and type the responses in the chat.
Okay.
And
I request that you unmute people, so because I like to participate with my audience, I would love to hear from you. Could I request that you keep yourselves on mute until you have a question to ask, and then please unmute yourselves. Will they be able to do that, Alan?
Actually, Alan,
okay.
We can actually, if they will raise their hands, we can unmute the participant to answer. Yeah.
Great.
We all know how to raise our hands.
I think, yeah. Yes, we already got many hands now.
Yes. Okay. So I will pause every now and again and give you an opportunity to answer. If I don't, then could you please write in the chat so that I can read it? And can they all see each other in the chat? Like, is it a public chat?
Yes.
From each other's questions.
It is a public chat. And then if they have, if you would like, they can write things in the Q&A, or they can write it in the public chat. They can see the Q&A, or they can all see the Q&A and all see the chat. It's your preference.
They can do either. So thank you very much for explaining that. So like Alan said, my name is Linda Berlot. I am super happy to be here tonight. I hope to hear many of your voices and receive many of your thoughts and your questions. Tonight, I'm here to talk to you about change and how to facilitate the process of going through change, managing our emotions through that process so that we can look to tomorrow and step into tomorrow confidently. I am going to share my PowerPoint presentation with you now, and we'll keep there we go. And we'll keep moving through the presentation, but there's going to be a certain point where I'm going to ask you to do the exercise on your own. It's good that we can't see each other, but I will spend most of my time in the exercise facilitating this so you have an experience of one of our ORSC tools, and then we can talk about it together. So I'm looking forward to doing that with you. So Alan, you introduced me very, very well. Thank you very much for that. I lead a team coaching organization, and we coach leadership teams throughout the Middle East and beyond. So we do two things. I also run a school where we teach people to be relationship or team coaches, and we follow the ORSC methodology to do that. And so one of the tools that I'm facilitating today is one of the tools from an ORSC perspective. Now, the ORSC methodology focuses on relationships or the team dynamics between people.
Excuse me, Linda.
Yes?
Would you please share your slides again? They seem not to have popped up.
I'm not doing that. Okay. So I'll start again. Okay.
Beautiful.
Can you all see the slides?
Yes. Okay, beautiful.
Fabulous. Okay, I won't repeat myself because I know I've only got a little bit of time. So that's a little bit about who we are. I'm sure you can Google that information if you'd like to, or visit the website. Thank you. So tonight's session is all about change, but it's also about leadership. Not necessarily leading others, but how do I lead myself through change? And if I know that we're all going through this, how do I help people around me go through change? Leadership is a change management or managing self is a leadership skill, but this is a tool that as coaches you can use with your teams or the people that you're working with to help them go through the emotions of change. And to make it more real and more relevant for us tonight, I'm going to be using the pandemic as an example, but this is just an example. We could be thinking about any of the changes in our lives. It's just that this is here right now and a perfect way to focus the tool. So I would like to know with you, if you can write on this, please put your cursor at the top of your screen and you should see a place which says view options or something like that. Press that and click annotate and then click text. And I would love for you to write on the screen, what are some of the emotions that are associated with change? For example, fear, the option isn't available? Okay, so then I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. Why don't you put it in your chat then? So put it in the chat. Can you, as long as you can see the screen, I will type up what I see.
Okay, Linda, would you like me to read some of them?
Yes, thank you.
Sure. Resistance.
Yes.
And we got uncertainty, excitement, we got that one. Fear, worries, anxiety, feeling stuck,
Exactly.
and ups and downs.
I saw challenge, ups and downs.
Adventure.
Some people think it's an adventure. Yes, do you know that the body doesn't know the difference between excitement and fear? It's our brain, given the situation that we are in, it's our brain that makes the translation. So I think you've understood that, right? So there are so many emotions that pop up when we are exposed to change. And this is both a change that we view positively and a change that we view negatively. These emotions pop up. Why? Because we are creatures of habit. We like to do the same things. And we don't necessarily like change. We like to stay in our comfort zone. So when we get kicked out of our comfort zone, all of a sudden, we pop into a zone which is the fear zone. However, if we stay in that fear zone a little bit longer, then we go into our learning and then growth zone. So change is important for us because, you know, it's the only thing that is sure, change and death. And change ensures that we keep growing, we keep moving forward, right? So if somebody stands still, they never move, but then they never grow. And so change is the only sure thing while we're alive. So clear all the drawings. Oh, my mouse. Okay, so we like to stay in our comfort zone. Going through change brings up all these emotions that you mentioned. When a change is imposed onto us, we hold on to that which is familiar. We look at the past, right? It's very difficult for us to move forward, even if it's something as simple as moving onto a new telephone. Sometimes even a simple change brings some resistance up in us. It may not last very long, but it's sometimes always there. So in order to accept what's here today and then be able to move forward, we have to deal with the emotions that are holding us back. Something like emotions of grief, of loss usually, and of fear. Some of us don't like the uncertainty, and so that brings up a lot of fear for us. But very often when there's a change, it means that we have to let go of something, and we don't usually like doing that. So this presentation is going to give you an experience, because it's an experiential exercise where we're going to look at how do we deal with the various emotions that pop up so that we can then move forward and choose how to move forward, so therefore be more empowered. So we're going to go and visit 3 territories. The territory of yesterday, and for the sake of this conversation, we don't mean yesterday, the 8th of May. We mean the days before the pandemic, the days when we were free, before lockdown, before quarantine, those days. Today is the day of pandemic, COVID, lockdown, quarantine, social distancing, all of this. Tomorrow is a time when all this will be over and we're out there in the world again. So are we all clear on that definition? So yesterday was pre-COVID. Today is where we are now, where we live, yes. And tomorrow is post-COVID. Okay, so the second piece of information I would like for you to do is find some space for yourself, because you're going to be visiting 3 different places. And even if it's just moving from one position to the other, make sure that you do that. This is an exercise you're going to do on your own. Just make sure you have some pen and paper handy. So I'm going to give you a second to do that. And then I would like you to get into the first position, which is the yesterday. So here I am in yesterday. Maybe I'll look this way for yesterday. So I look back when I stand in yesterday. So do you all have pen and paper? Give it to me in the chat. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So what I'd like for you to do now, please, is stand in the land of yesterday. Go and stand in the land of yesterday. And feel into this land. Remember it and feel into it. And think or feel, what did it feel like in yesterday? What does it feel like to stand in the land of yesterday? What are the emotions? What are the sensations? What the atmosphere in yesterday? And write them down, and then we will, at the end of the exercise, we will share these together. What did you love about yesterday? What did you love about yesterday? So write them down for yourself, and then we will look at them together. Then just think, what was important here in yesterday? What was important? When you think about yesterday, what were your challenges and the pressures of yesterday? And make some notes on your piece of paper. What were the challenges and pressures? And then think about what were some of the things about yesterday that you do not want to let go. You want to bring them here into today, and write those down on a piece of paper or jot them down. Okay, now say goodbye to yesterday, which was pre-COVID, and now come and stand in today. So if yesterday you were facing this way, perhaps stand a different way. And here you are in today. Get a feel for what today feels like. So really feel, what's the atmosphere here? What does it feel like? How does it feel like to stand in today? What do you love about today? What is important in today? What's important here? Think about that. What is important about today? And how are things different today to how they used to be? Big differences, right? Yeah. We'll focus. Okay. How are things different to how they used to be? And now take a moment and think about yesterday. What needs to be grieved? Like, what do you need to cry for about what was yesterday? What needs to be grieved? What do you want to honor about yesterday or acknowledge? And then think about, what are those things you want to let go from yesterday? What do you want to let go? Now, think about what is possible today that was not possible yesterday, and write that down. What is possible today which was not possible yesterday? And make some notes for yourself on your paper. And then write down 1 or 2 things that you want to remember to take with you from today into tomorrow. From today into tomorrow. And now prepare to let go of today and prepare to move into that new territory, which is the territory of tomorrow. So either face in a new direction or take a step and go into the land of tomorrow. And really let today go and imagine that you are in this new place of tomorrow. And think about, how does it feel to stand in this new place? This place that will be tomorrow. How does it feel to stand there? What's it like here tomorrow? And once you have a sense of that, start to think about what is important in tomorrow. What's important over here in the land of tomorrow? Yeah. Yeah. And as you're looking at what's important, start to take notice. How are things different tomorrow to the way that they used to be? How are things different to the way they used to be? And now let your imagination run free and think about if there was a metaphor or a song, a picture to describe your tomorrow, what would it be? So if there was a metaphor, a saying, a picture, a song, what would describe your tomorrow? Some beautiful metaphors. I'm happy you're feeling good. And now think about this. What is possible in tomorrow, which was not possible today or yesterday? What would be possible now in tomorrow, which was not possible today or yesterday? Change, yeah. Now take a moment just to write some notes for yourself so that you can remember this conversation between us. Just make some notes. Just a minute to make some notes. What is some awareness that came up for you? Like, what was some awareness that came up in this exercise? Okay, and now I would love to hear, change is possible and much fun. I would love to hear some of your thoughts. So what was that exercise like for you? Come and share with me. What was your learning? What was your awareness? And I'd love to hear your voices too. Yes, I need to recover the good from yesterday and focus and preserve. Every moment has its benefits.
Actually,
Yes.
you have Abdullah Al-Gahtani wants to talk. Abdullah.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Abdullah.
Linda, thank you very much for the insight. I really appreciate the session. I think what I learned from this exercise, which is very important to me, the only fact in life is the change. So that's what we have to accept and being flexible to enjoy the life. Thank you for this good exercise.
My pleasure. Someone else, what did you learn? What was your awareness that came up for you? Majda. So could we just unmute everybody so they can feel free to speak? Would that be possible?
Hello?
Hi.
You can hear me?
I can.
Yeah, I am a blessed lady. And I found that reflection is very important. Thank you for giving me time to reflect all these issues. This is the first awareness I had it tonight. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Three participants. Someone else, what was your learning and your awareness?
Hi, Linda.
Hello.
Thank you for this inspiring exercise. Actually, what I realize about myself, about this exercise in particular, to appreciate every moment. I think in the past, I believe in the past, I was overwhelmed with my job duties and everything. Now I have time. I appreciate the time that I spent with my family. I appreciate the time that I mediate in this, quarantine. So to appreciate every moment in life and live it to the maximum.
I love that you say that. I can't tell you how many times last year I travel a lot. I was traveling almost every second week and sometimes more often than that. And I was sometimes just praying, saying, please, I wish the world would just stop for 5 minutes. And then when this all happened, I thought, whoa, be careful what you're praying for.
Exactly. So thank you for this marvelous exercise. It's inspiring and enlightened my way. Thank you very much.
My absolute pleasure. I haven't finished with you guys yet. So I have a couple more questions for you to reflect on. So what can you do here by learning about what we want from tomorrow? What can we do here? What we do from here? So we stepped into tomorrow. Now, what did that teach us? What can we do from here? And yes, absolutely, we can do this methodology with our families too. That was one of the questions. So what can we do from here by learning about what we did about tomorrow? Yes, 2 hands raised.
Iman, would you like to comment?
About the first question, and I'd like to thank you, Linda, and everyone. I'm a little anxious, and I didn't know why. And just with this exercise, I realized that I didn't have any problem answering today's and tomorrow's question. But for today and yesterday's question, but tomorrow's question, I really had no clue. So I don't have a metaphor to describe tomorrow. I don't know what I want to take and what I don't want to take. And I guess by realizing that maybe I'll try to figure out things a little clear, and things will be a little clearer, knowing that this is my biggest challenge on how will tomorrow look like.
Absolutely. And you know what? You don't have to be right. You don't have to have tomorrow sorted perfectly, because we don't really know what tomorrow will look like. But if you could imagine a tomorrow for you, what would be a tomorrow you would like to see? So maybe look at it from in that way. So, and then the next question is, so stop resisting and live in the now and here, embrace the situation, enjoy the moment, and take action today. And that, Radha, is exactly where I'm going to next. So what can you start to prepare now that will help you tomorrow? So for example, if I want to run a marathon tomorrow, I can't be attached to my fridge 24/7 today, right? I have to start doing something that will help me tomorrow. So what can you start to prepare today? What are some actions you can do today that will help you tomorrow? Live, accept, act. Another way to look at that is, how does tomorrow inform you today? So if I look after my health, exactly. So if I have a dream about tomorrow, and it might not come true, but this is how I would like it to be. In order for that dream to come true, I have to start with being different now so that I can achieve my tomorrow. So how does your tomorrow inform you today? Yes, plan, strategies, start baby steps on a daily basis. Exactly. We don't have to go to here and to the moon and back. Like, how does that inform you tomorrow? And then the other question is, what can you prepare yourselves for tomorrow to leave the confinement of today? So tomorrow, lockdown lifts, quarantine lifts. What are the skills that will help me cross into tomorrow? Because we might have reverse, you know, I kicked and screamed coming in, and now I'm like kicking and screaming going out. That can happen too. So what do you need to do to prepare yourself so that you can step out feeling very empowered tomorrow? Yes, resilience, learn new skills. Yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So many of us had this age around technology, and now we've all crossed that age. We've learned it. Be ready. Abdullah, how will you be ready to face tomorrow? And as you think about that, I have one last question, and this I'd like you to make some notes on your piece of paper. What do you want to keep when you leave today and you move? What do you want to keep? Yeah. And also, what do you want to leave behind in today? Yeah. Stop grieving. Yes. Business you want to keep and grow, hopefully. So, time to reflect. That's something to keep. Your good health. Yes. Life balance. Yes. These are some of the things that we want to keep. What do we want to leave behind so that we can move purposefully into tomorrow? What do you want to leave behind from today to tomorrow? Fear. Strong connection with my family. That's a keep, I think. Leave behind ignorance. Yes. Yeah. non-essential activities. Wasn't it amazing how little we could actually do, how we could do with so little? We could let go of so much when we had to. All those non-essential activities. So this is the end of the exercise. I hope that you've made some notes and this has created some awareness for you. Happy to hear some of your comments, your questions. Leave behind staying at home. Yes, reduce the fluff from yesterday. I love that. So if we could unmute our participants, that would be wonderful. And then we can hear them speak up.
Yes, Linda, thank you very much. This is Abdullah again. That's a very informative session, and it's very difficult when it came to reality. The good thing about what we learned during this session and several sessions during this week, and thanks for ICF Saudi chapter, is the best that you can do. But unfortunately, when it came to the reality and the implementation, you face some kind of difficulties. How we be aware of these difficulties and try to overcome it from execution point of view?
Yeah, I think it's true. Sometimes the world and situations are bigger than us, right? But what can we control? We can certainly I can control myself. I can control my thoughts, my emotions, and I can control my behavior. And so it just depends, who do I want to be tomorrow? And then I can start working on that today to take that with me. I certainly can't control the events that are happening. Who knows? As lockdown starts opening, maybe we'll have to go back into lockdown. I cannot control the environment. It's bigger than me. But I can certainly control my behavior and my attitudes and the way that I want to be out in the world. And if you have that clear, then it will give you more indication of what you should focus on. Any thoughts?
Fatin.
Hi.
Yeah, thank you so much for this very useful, session. I found it very interesting for me because it's allowed me to analyze the feeling that I'm going through now. And I found it very challenging when you ask questions about tomorrow, because for me, tomorrow is something vague. I don't know when tomorrow is coming and so on. But when you ask what you want to bring with you from today, this really helped me to see tomorrow.
Yes.
And again, helped me to go back to your questions and answer them. And also because the thing that I face, or the most difficulty I face nowadays, is that being unproductive. This is how I feel. But again, when you ask what you want to bring with you from today, I found that no, so far I've been quite productive. So there are something that I could bring to tomorrow. Again, the coaching and the questions, it's like magic. Helps people to bring the best out of them. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. Sometimes the way to look to tomorrow is to look at, what do I want to let go of tomorrow? Like, what do I not want in my life? Like for me, for example, I was back to back, packed. I could not accept clients except 3 months in advance. This was embarrassing when they asked me to meet or have a conversation. And now, although I'm working hard, I have more space. And I love that space. In the evening, I have the time to connect with my family who are in Italy. And so it gives me space. I want to take that with me. So if we think about, what do we want to take with us? What do we want to let go of from yesterday? And what do we want to take with us from tomorrow? Sometimes that gives us an indication of how we want tomorrow to look at. I think you've got a poll. So if you could poll, that would be great. Take a moment to poll.
Yeah, we'll give you all time to pose as you're wrapping up, Linda. You can carry on with your comment that you're making, and then after that, we have one more question.
Okay, so any questions so far? Any other questions? And then I'll close.
Sure. we have a question from Maha, who says, how do we deal with the fear that arises when we look into the tomorrow?
Well, first of all, accept that fear is a natural part of change. So if we think about the change curve, you know, denial, resistance, exploration, and acceptance, there are very strong emotions that are evoked by change. So denial, fear, anxiety, sleeping, shock, and then anger, all of these are very real emotions. And sometimes just acknowledging, oh, okay, this is what's here, and this is what pops up for me every time I think about the change. And just being aware of, what do I need now? Do I need to vent? Do I need to speak to someone? Do I need to manage how much information comes at me? You know, do I need to create some safe space for myself? So understand what emotion you're feeling, number one. Number two, normalize it. It's normal to go through all those emotions. Any change actually is an emotional journey. And know that with time you go through the journey, but also give yourself what you need to be in the moment and experience the emotions that you're going through, knowing that with time you will come through this. We all do come through this.
Great. Thank you so much, Linda. This has been excellent. And as looking through all the responses in the chat, as I'm sure you're seeing many of them, if not all of them, it's been I think a real challenge, in everything from heartwarming to perspective changing and a number of other things. So thank you so much. And
it's always a pleasure to be speaking here with you and to meet everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I have a question from a couple people about, can they show the slide about yesterday's question? And I'm thinking what we'll do is, for the sake of time, we will go ahead and the webinar will be posted online, and we will either make that available on YouTube, or it will be available for viewing through a link or that kind of thing. And we will try to make that available in the next week or so, okay? So if you guys are on our mailing list, you're part of our WhatsApp group, the ICF KSA WhatsApp group, or you are on our mailing list, you'll see news about that, or you can also hear about that on our social media. And the social media details will be posted in the chat in just a moment. So thank you all very much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you to all of you for inviting me here.
Okay, Linda, you have a great night. Good night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Good night. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Linda. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Alia.
Thank you. Bye, Alan.
Good night.
Good night.